What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to another video and to the channel. So I think I have probably one of the most exciting videos for you guys today that I think a lot of you guys are going to find very interesting. So as you guys can see, I have my BMW E90 behind me here, and in this video I'm going to be changing out the LED angel eye rings that I have inside the headlights. So for those of you who may be new here and haven't really been following the channel that long, this is my 2009 BMW E90 328i, and as you guys can see, I have done quite a bit of modifications to this car. This car looks a lot different than when I first got it, but out of all of the modifications I have on this car, the most popular has to be the headlights. I get asked about these headlights all of the time. There's a period where I would get asked like every other day, you know, what headlights do you have on your BMW E90? So in this video, I'm going to be answering all the questions you guys may have and doing a full overview of these headlights and how to install the LED rings that are inside these headlights, because those are what make these headlights. So these headlights are actually the original headlights that came with the car, but they have been customized with the LED angel eye rings, and the inside housing has been painted satin black. So that's why they look like they are aftermarket kind of and just don't look like the original headlights. But these are actually the original LED xenon headlights that came with the car. So now some of you guys may be wondering, why am I going to be installing new LED rings when these headlights already have LED rings? So I did this custom headlight retrofit almost 4 years ago, and recently the current LED rings that are inside the headlights right now have started to show signs of aging and deterioration, and they just really do not look that good anymore. Some of you guys may be able to see it through the camera here, but these rings kind of have like a yellowish hue to them, but when I first got them brand new, they had a very bright white appearance. So that's one of the signs that these rings have aged a bit. But probably the most evident sign that these rings are old and are, you know, aging and just deteriorating is when they are on. There are so many dead spots or spots where it's not really illuminated compared to other spots around the ring, so it just looks very spotty, and it's not like a bright solid white light like it used to look when I first got them. There's just spots where it's not as bright as other spots on the ring, and it just does not look good anymore. But let me show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. So let me go ahead and turn these on real quick here. So here's the driver's side, and you guys can see it has a yellowish hue to it. That was not there when I first got it. From this angle you can really see it, and then if you go from like the front view here, you can see the outer ring is just, it's just very yellowish and kind of spotty. The inner ring isn't as bad, but you can still kind of see there's spots where it's not like that bright white color. Yeah, it is really bad on the outer ring on the driver's side headlight. Let's go take a look at the passenger side. You can kind of see the same thing. It's not like a solid white color like it used to look. It's just kind of spotty, and it has like yellowish spots to it where it's not as illuminated as the rest of the ring. And yeah, it just really does not look good anymore, and it has been bugging me a lot ever since I noticed this. Now from this distance here, it looks okay on camera, like you can't really see the spottiness of the rings, but looking at them with my own eyes here, I can definitely see that they are old and they are spotty and they just do not look that good. So yeah, that is why I'm going to be replacing these rings. So I'm actually going to be replacing these rings with the same exact rings, just a brand new set from the same exact company, BAV Group Designs. Now I know some of you may be questioning, why would you buy the same exact rings when you know they're just going to do this after a few years? And that is because these rings have the best look out of any rings available from a, you know, renowned company that does, you know, aftermarket lighting upgrades for BMWs. These rings easily have the best look in my opinion. There are other options that probably are a better quality and will last longer, that are just made differently, but I do not like the look of them. Most of them are just too skinny, like the rings are just very thin and not as thick as these. I like the thick look of these LED rings. The other rings just have a more, you know, thinner ring, like it's more narrow and smaller, and it just doesn't really look as good in my opinion. And that's really the only reason why I just decided to go with these same exact rings, because I just like the look of these. But who knows, maybe they actually made some updates on these rings and they'll last a bit longer. Maybe they made some improvements so that this doesn't happen. I'm honestly not 100% sure if they did make improvements on their new rings. I guess I'll just have to find out after I install them and see how long they last before this happens again. So like I said, you guys, I'm gonna be taking out these rings and putting in a brand new set of these same exact rings. So I am gonna have to open up these headlights, which I have done a couple times already because I have replaced the lenses once, and I had to do a reseal because there is condensation getting in, I think the passenger side headlight. So I've opened them up twice, so I know how to do it, but I actually did not install these rings or do this retrofit initially. I had someone else do it, but after talking with some people who've done this same retrofit with these same rings, it is actually not that hard to install these specific rings. There's no like wire splicing or wire cutting or anything. It's just simple plug and play. The only hard part is just getting the lenses off of the housing. But since mine have already been removed and resealed, it's much easier. If you're doing this for the very first time with the factory seal, it is much harder and take a lot more time. So this installation won't be as difficult for me, but regardless, I still want to show you guys how to install these rings, because like I said, these headlights have easily been the most popular modification I have on this car. I always get asked about them, you know, how to install them, where did I get the rings from and all that. So I'm going to be showing you guys exactly how to install these rings in this video. So obviously the first thing I'm going to have to do here is remove the headlights. So I'm gonna have to remove the bumper before I can remove the headlights. So let's go ahead and get all of that done real quick. Alright, so I got both headlights out. So now we can go ahead and take these to the garage so that we can begin opening these up. Alright, so here I have the driver's side headlight, and like I said, I'm gonna have to open up the headlight, so I'm gonna have to remove the entire lens here. And like I said, these have already been opened before, so the original factory seal has already been opened. It was opened by the guy who did this whole retrofit for me, and he resealed them, and I resealed them myself also when I replaced the lenses for a second time. They are resealed with some aftermarket butyl seal, as you can see here. So this is going to be a lot easier for me to remove the lens since the factory seal has already been broken or opened. However, if you're doing this for the very first time and the headlight lens has never come off and it still has the factory seal, this is going to be a lot harder and it's going to take a lot more time than what you see me do here on camera, since all I have to do is just heat up the seal, the butyl, all along the headlight lens, and it will soften and I can easily just remove the lens. Like I said, I've already done this twice, so both times it took me less than like a minute to remove the lens. So just be prepared for that and take note of that if you're doing this for the very first time. So I'm gonna go ahead and start heating up the seal all along the headlight lens. I have my little heat gun here, so this will do just fine. I have this cool little tool here that'll make it easier to pry off the lens. You can see when I squeeze it, basically pries apart. Alright, so as you guys saw, I got the lens off and now you guys get to see inside the headlight here. Now all that was used to like secure the rings to like the top of the original angel eye ring was just some double-sided tape. As you guys can see, it's kind of coming off. But you can see there's like one little piece of double-sided tape right there sticking it on. I'm just gonna take it off, so I need to take it off anyway. And there we are. And then this one here, if I could just take this off real quick without breaking anything, that would be great. There we go. But yeah, you guys can see how yellow these rings look right there. But you guys can see like the wiring is all tucked in the back there, so I'm gonna have to remove this. Like, I'm assuming this is a piece here, maybe two pieces, but you can see it's held on by some T20 screws. One down there, one up here, and then another one at the bottom down there, and then one up here. So it looks like there's four. So let me go ahead and remove those real quick. Alright, so I got this piece off, so now I have access to like the back part of the headlight where all of the wires are. So you guys can see the ring wires going back there. Let me see where it connects to. So it looks like the only thing that it's connected to is this piece here, or this connector here. And I believe this is the connector for the bulb that illuminates the original angel eye rings, which are painted here in satin black. Originally, you know, you have those very like faint angel eye rings on BMW E90s with the xenon LED headlights like these. But they've been painted, so I can't show you, but I believe this is the connector for that bulb. At least that's what I was told. But you can see it just simply plugs into this connector here, and that's it. There was no extra like splicing of wires or cutting of wires or anything. Just simply plugged into that socket there, and that was it. So I guess let me go ahead and remove this connector here. And there it is. The old rings are removed. Here are the new rings, and you can definitely see how much wider these are compared to the old rings here. You can see that yellowish color to it that it has. So the wiring looks pretty much the same, other than there are two extra like cables here that connect into something. I'm not sure what these are for, but it looks like these connect into the rings here. But yeah, honestly, I'm not sure what these are for. Maybe I'll figure it out in a second here. And I think this yellow wire here is if you want to splice it with the turn signal wire so that the rings light up orange whenever you use your turn signal. These lights here, I'm not sure which wire to splice it to for the turn signal, but I would like to have that feature because I didn't have it initially when they were installed. I would like to have it this time, so maybe I could figure it out here. So yeah, but other than the turn signal wire, these are simply just plug and play. You just simply plug this into this connector here, and that'll give the rings the, you know, white color whenever you have the DRLs on, and that's it. But like I said, the turn signal wire, I have to find the wire to splice that. Alright, so I just decided to not use the option to have these turn amber with the turn signals whenever they're activated. I just can't really figure out you know, which wire to splice it to, since there are 3 wires there for the turn signal connector. I'm just gonna abandon that idea and just mount the rings and just have them illuminate white only, you know, whenever the DRLs are activated. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just start mounting the rings. I'm gonna mount them by using some double-sided tape, which is how the old rings were mounted, and they held up just fine over the last 4 years. They never like came off or anything, so I'm just gonna do the same thing. I got some double-sided tape here that I'm just gonna stick to the back of the ring, and then I'm just gonna simply mount them on top just like this. And then same thing with the outer ring here, just mount it just like that, and that should be good. So I'll go ahead and get that started. Alright, so I have the new rings mounted, as you can see here, stuck on there pretty nicely. And then I connected everything already, as you guys saw. So there's one connection point there, and then this one here for the outer ring, and then the main connection right here for the power. Now I just have to stuff all this wiring back there, and then remount this whole piece here, and then we'll go ahead and test these. Alright, so I finished putting all of the headlight pieces back together with the exception of the lens, and that is because I want to test these before I put the lens back on to make sure the rings are working. Alright, so I have them connected. As you can see right there, it's connected. So let's go ahead and turn them on. Alright, well they did not turn on, so I'm honestly not sure why not, but let me figure out the issue here. Alright guys, so I was able to find the issue, and it is going to be a pretty minor setback for this install. So the issue and the reason why the rings didn't turn on initially is because this wire harness appears to be faulty. Like something's wrong with it. It's not giving the rings power, because this is the other wire harness that I didn't use initially when I put all this back together, and this one works. Like the rings work with this harness. So let me show you guys real quick. Let me go ahead and turn on the RLs real quick. So as you guys can see here, this is what they're supposed to look like. As you can see, they have a super bright white look. But yeah, so this wire harness works, this one here, and I tested this one also with the other rings and they also turn on, but the rings do not turn on with this wire harness here. Alright, so I don't know what happened, but now the harness is working. I was just kind of playing around with it, but it appears to be working now for some reason. Right now they're off, but let me go ahead and turn them on real quick again, see if this still works. So turn it on. And as you can see, these light up, and that's what they're connected to there. So I don't know what happened or why it's working now, but this was the harness that wasn't working initially. It wasn't working, but now it's working. So I've been messing around with the shroud here, and I noticed when I moved it, the rings turned off. So something when I moved it triggered the rings to turn off. So I was looking behind the shroud here, and I noticed, let me see if I can get it here on camera for you guys, but you see these wires here that go into the connector that gives the rings power. The outside like rubber covering has kind of peeled off. It looks like it's just like cracked off because it's hardened, I guess, over the years just from the heat. So the wires are exposed, but I noticed when these two wires touched, the rings would turn off. So let me see if I can show you guys here. So I'm gonna touch them together. So I'm touching them together, and you can see they're turning off. So I'm pretty sure that's what the actual issue was. So yeah, I'm gonna have to cover that with some electrical tape probably, so that doesn't happen again, and so I don't have to deal with taking this apart again after I put everything back together. So yeah, if you experience the same thing as me, check that your wires are not exposed like this, and then I guess just simply cover it with some electrical tape. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quick. Alright, so I went ahead and put some electrical tape around the exposed wire. You can see there. So now there's no chance of them touching and causing the rings to turn off. So yeah, hopefully that works. So now I'll go ahead and put this piece back in and then test the rings one more time before I put the lens back on. Alright, so I checked and they do turn on, so we should be good to go. So I actually bought new lenses for these headlights, as you can see here, since the old lenses are kind of not really in good condition anymore. I just wanted a clean look, so I just went ahead and got brand new lenses. So before I put the new lenses on, I need to transfer over this shroud piece here. You can see it's held on by a few tiny screws around there. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this piece off and put it into the new lens. Alright, so I have the new lens put together with the original shroud. So the new lens is ready to be put on the headlight. So to put the new lens on, I'm going to be using more of the butyl sealant here that goes in between the cracks here all along the housing. As you can see there, I'll simply just be like stringing it along here inside the opening. And then the edge of the headlight will sit inside this little opening here. And then I'm gonna clamp the headlight together, like press it together with the housing and let it sit for maybe about 30 minutes to an hour so that it kind of hardens and, you know, creates a seal. And that's it. So let's go ahead and get that done. Alright, so I have completed the install of these rings and everything is back together on these headlights. As you can see, these are looking extremely clean. They pretty much look like a brand new set of headlights. If you look at it just from the lens and inside the headlight, you can kind of see it's kind of, you know, messed up over there from, you know, taking the lens off. But I mean, this part isn't shown. It's going to be covered by the fender and the bumper. So as you guys saw, when I resealed them, I drilled some holes and inserted some screws so that the housing and the lens would be held together, because the butyl seal kind of like separates and doesn't, you know, stay in one spot. So putting some screws helps keep the lens and the housing together, and then the seal will like cool down and sort of harden in place. So I put 2 up there, and then there's 2 on the bottom, as you can see there. And then same thing for this one, I put 2 screws up there and then 2 screws on the bottom. So yeah, these headlights are nice and sealed and are ready to be put back on the car. Alright, so I have the headlights ready to install, and as you guys can see, it's kind of the evening now, so there's a lot less sun. So we should be able to get a good look at these once these are back on the car. Alright, so I have the driver's side headlight back onto the car. I just need to put the front bumper on. But before I do that, let's check to make sure that the rings light up. Alright, so they are lit up, thank goodness. So it looks like we are good to go. So now I'm gonna go ahead and just put the front bumper back on, so we have everything back on the car and we get a nice look at these rings. So I have everything back onto the car. So now we can see the final result of these new LED rings and new lenses. And right now I can tell you guys, these headlights look brand new again. Literally look like a brand new set of headlights thanks to these new lenses. Taking a closer look here, you guys can see there's no more of that ugly yellowish appearance anymore. It's looking extremely clean, brand new. But let me go ahead and turn on the angel eyes, because I know that's what you guys want to see. Sheesh, you guys, these rings look so good. Looks 100 times better than what they look like before with the old rings. These brand new rings did exactly what I needed them to do. These new rings completely revamped these headlights, just brought new life into them. These rings look absolutely insane, you guys. These rings are so bright and they are just a solid white, so that makes them look so clean. Most other like Angel Eye ring options that are cheaper don't have like this solid white look. The LED lights are more like spread out, so they're not like a solid white like this. This is why I absolutely love these rings, and I think these are the best options that you can get, at least right now, because just look at these. These look insane. If you saw these in person, they look even better than what you see here on camera. These just look so good, you guys. These rings just draw all of the attention. Now, like I mentioned, the sun is kind of going down already, so these are a bit brighter now that there's less light out, but these are still very bright even during the day. Like midday, these are still very bright. So it has now been a few days and I've had the chance to wash the car. As you guys can see, looks very clean. It has not looked this clean in months, honestly, but now I can show you guys how the LED rings look during the day. As you guys can see there, they are still very bright. So taking a closer look here at these LED rings, you guys can see they're still very bright. I will say during the day they do kind of give off a very slight purplish appearance, but they're still mostly white, but they do give off a kind of purplish appearance during the day. But at night they're much whiter, but regardless, they still look really good during the day. I really cannot get over how good these rings look, man. And now that the car is clean with these brand new lenses and rings, the front end just looks absolutely amazing. Go ahead and show you guys a look from the side here. This is how they look from this angle. And you guys can see, like, these don't really look that aftermarket. Like, it looks like these headlights could come from BMW like this. Like, you can't even tell that these are like just mounted on rings. Like, they look pretty OEM in my opinion. So yeah, there really isn't that much else to say, you guys. Like, these rings look absolutely amazing and I recommend them 100% if you want to get your Angel Eyes looking brighter. If you have the LED xenon headlights like mine, these are the perfect option appearance wise, at least. But in terms of longevity, you know, I'm not sure that these are the best, you know, because I showed you guys what happened to them after 4 years. You know, they turned yellow, they became very spotty. Not sure if these are the best option for, you know, long-lasting LED rings. There may be some better options out there, I just haven't found them, but based off what I have come across and what I have found, these are definitely the best LED rings you could buy for your BMW E90 or E92, because these can also fit E92. So yeah, kind of moving away from the LED rings and just kind of taking a look at the E90 overall. There are some things I am planning to change coming soon here to get this thing looking more put together, since I kind of haven't really been paying much attention to it and some parts have started to just kind of fade and not look good anymore. For example, like the front lip. Definitely is time for a new front lip. So you guys can see it's cracked there in the middle. It had some damage, but in general, I think it's just time for a new front lip. So that will definitely be coming soon, maybe even in the next video. Let's do a little quick walk around of the E90. I honestly can't see that much on this side. There's the rear. I definitely need some new side skirts since the wrap is starting to peel off. As you can see right there, that's one little defect. I probably just need to rewrap them if I can't find some new side skirts. But regardless, the car still looks super clean in my opinion for being, what is this car, like 14 years old now? 15 years old almost? Yeah, E90 is still looking good. So overall, you guys, I definitely recommend these 100%. If you are looking for rings, you definitely need to check these out. These are easily the best option, and this isn't like a sponsorship or promotion. I paid for these, you know, full price. I did not get a discount or anything. I just genuinely think these rings are the best option, looks wise at least. But yeah, as usual, let me know what you guys think of these LED Angel Eye rings. I would love to hear your guys' opinions on these. But yeah, anyway, I think that is gonna wrap up this video here. I think this has kind of been a long one. Hopefully, not sure yet. I won't know until I put it together, but I'm just gonna wrap up the video here. If you guys have any questions that I didn't answer in this video about these rings, please comment them down below the video and I will answer your questions there. Feel free to also share your opinions on these rings. And as usual, I will leave a link to these rings from BAV Group Designs if you guys want to check these out for yourselves. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. As usual, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more content if you liked what you saw. Also, feel free to check out inline6auto.com if you're looking for any aftermarket upgrades for your BMW E90. A lot of the parts I have on this car are available on that website. I'll have a link down in the description also if you guys want to check it out. But anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video.